Hello and welcome to News Central TV. I'm Tolulope Adilere Balogun. This is News Central Now. We begin in South Africa, where Action SA has offered a 50,000 Rand reward for information leading to the arrest of those behind the killings of two boys in Soweto last week. Former Johannesburg Mayor and Action SA leader Herman Mashaba says the abduction and murder of Nkobile Zule 5 and Shiamo Rabaye 6 highlights how communities have been left defenseless against rising crime. Mashaba has since visited the two families and assured them that the party would not rest until the perpetrators are caught. He also expressed hope that the Gauteng Police Commissioner Elias Mawela would accept their offer of help. It's been 4 days since the killings and mutilation of two young boys in Soweto, and no one has been arrested or brought in for questioning. Herman Mashaba, the leader of Action SA, joins us now on the news.
Yes.
Hello, Herman. Fantastic. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
So, unfortunately, this is not the first time. It's unfortunately likely not also to be the last time that we hear of such crimes in South Africa: abduction, killing, mutilation of children. When we look at the data, the stats on what drives this crime and these kinds of murders in South Africa, what can you tell us?
Well, I think, unfortunately, the culture of lawlessness in South Africa over the last 29 years of democratic dispensation led by the ANC government has really created massive challenges for us, people of South Africa. We not really safe any longer because our law enforcement agencies have really been captured for political motivation, and also for these criminals to pursue their trade. Because unfortunately, the leadership in South Africa unfortunately leaves a lot to be desired in terms of ethical leadership, people who are not involved in crime. So if we had a government that was committed to public service, putting professional people to run our public institutions, would not really be having this problem. That's why people are losing confidence in our police, because they can see that there's nothing happening. It is for that reason yesterday when I visited the family, realizing that let's see if we can help the police to really have the interest in this particular matter of these two young boys, because someone out there must have really seen what really transpired, and hopefully this reward might incentivize them to really come forward, provide the necessary support, and give them the leads to the police for these murderers to be taken out of society.
Very true. So you were one time mayor of Johannesburg, one of South Africa's largest cities. In terms of your observations on the job from that time, why is there such a high crime rate in South Africa's cities? Take us through some of the issues, particularly pertaining to crime, that you had to address when you were mayor of Johannesburg.
Well, I think, South Africa is really facing a unique problem. The first one is that our government is run by criminals. It's a criminal enterprise. So our political leaders are involved in crime to a large extent, and society is aware about this. That's the first one. Secondly, when you have government that's involved in crime and the leadership thereof are part of this problem, what they do, they capture the criminal justice system that is dysfunctional. You see the police led by people with questionable characters and so forth. So this unfortunately creates a huge challenge. Another problem is high unemployment. South Africa at the moment has got the highest sustainable unemployment rate in the world. So when you have such poverty, the inequality in a country like South Africa or anywhere in the world, you can expect you are going to really have a challenge. Another huge challenge which the South African government has failed to do since 1994 was to ensure that the sovereignty of South Africa is protected, because South Africa constitutionally, we're a sovereign country. People coming in and out of our country needs to really come here legally, and when they're here, they must respect the laws of our country. So what happens is over the 30 or 29 years of ANC government allowed South Africa to really be the playground of international crime syndicates, and they are doing it knowing very well that there are no consequences of their heinous crimes.
Interesting. So earlier, Herman, you mentioned the police, and I think that's where we need to touch base with next. So as of right now, 4 days or so after this crime, no one has been arrested. The police have not shared if they've questioned or if there are any leads. Do you think that the police are failing to curb crime? Is it a capacity issue, a lack of will in which to follow up with some of these criminal activities that are happening? What suggestions do you have in terms of how this stuff can be handled? These sort of situations can be put to a stop. It's unimaginable what that family and what those families right now are going through.
Well, I think there's just no doubt whatsoever that the problem with our law enforcement agencies' capacity to deal with crime is because they are led by questionable character. So the morale of our law enforcement agencies, of which majority are good, committed public servants, but unfortunately, when they are led by questionable characters, honestly, one cannot really expect to get positive results. So our policemen and women in South Africa at the moment really very demotivated because of their leadership being led by questionable characters who are part of the problems and part of the criminal syndicates that we are experiencing.
So your party has offered a 50,000 Rand reward for someone to come forward with information. As you said, it's very unlikely that someone did not see something, but you've also offered to help the police in terms of their investigation. What have the police said in terms of taking you up on that offer? And is there anything coming in once this reward has been announced?
Yeah, look, I think lucky enough, when I was the city, I was the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg. My chief of police, David Temple, very committed, professional police officer, someone who, as far as I'm concerned, is an ethical person. I only met him after his appointment, worked very well with him. We were really dealing with criminality in a brutal fashion to ensure that criminals had to really understand that the city of Johannesburg is not a playground for criminal elements. And obviously, we had the 2021 local government elections where we went into a coalition arrangement, and we still put him as the chief of police. I know for sure that David Tembe is really loved by the residents of Johannesburg to lead the police. So I was with him yesterday when we visited the families and put him in charge to work with South African police services to ensure that they can really do what they are constitutionally expected and obliged to do. So yes, we hope and really pray that these heinous criminals must be found, because you can imagine they've already taken 2 innocent young lives. How many more lives have they taken before? How many will they continue doing this if we don't really stop them? So that is why I think we are really determined, my team and I, we are determined, and the community as well, we are determined to ensure that the South African police services actually do everything in their power to bring these perpetrators, take them out of the community and put them in jail where they belong.
All right, Herman Mashaba, leader of South Africa's Action SA, thank you so much for joining us. We'll continue to follow this situation, this story very closely.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right.